right, guys. So we'll appreciate you guys. We see a couple more people that join the chat, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of back it up just a little bit for you guys that just getting in. That's Gen Z has left the chat.
Yes.
Why the work ethic isn't what it used to be. All right.
And some of you guys can relate to this now because I'm just gonna say it. You know, I've noticed it. Some people, you know, since COVID hit, a lot of people just don't want to go to work. They don't want to go to an office environment. They want to work from home.
No, they don't.
If they don't get that, they're not going to work at all.
They don't. Okay. All right. For some of you guys that don't know who we are, I am your host, Broker J3. And as always, you know, the one lighting up the room with brilliance and beauty, the lovely Doc B.
Oh, that's so kind. That's so kind. You already know, guys, I'm locked in today. This is a hot topic. This one right here is hot. It's personal, it's generational, and it's about to stir the comment section. I can see it coming because of the fact that we have a different group of listeners. Our audience is wide. So we have the baby boomers, we have the Gen Z, we have the Gen X, we have the millennials. Everybody can chime in and let us know what you're thinking. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Just the title alone got people typing already.
Yeah.
Gen Z has left the chat. Why the work ethic isn't what it used to be. People are saying this new generation just doesn't want to work, like Doc B say.
I said it.
They won't stay long. They check out mentally, even when they're still on payroll.
Yes, I've heard it all the time. I'll ask somebody, you know, like I was in Ross the other day, and I asked this young man, I said, well, where do you work? He said, I had to go to work. I said, where do you work? And he told me where he worked, and I said, well, you know, I always ask, you know, are they hiring? Because sometimes, you know, I think about my children, I think about my nephews, and he said, well, we just fired 3 people because they called out. They didn't want to come to work. And I was thinking about that. 3 people, you know, when I was coming up, we went to work and we stayed with that company for a long time. But this is the question. Are these people just lazy? Or are they just smarter about how they work, how they move? Let's dig deep into that.
Exactly. So that's going to bring us to the great generational divide. All right?
Yeah.
So let's break it down. You got the boomers, you know, Gen X, that's us, you know, millennials, Gen Z. Now, boomers stayed at their job, like I said before, for decades.
Yes, they did.
Literally. Like, I've been with the company longer than the building's been standing type loyalty, you know?
Yeah, and some people believe in that, right? Now, the Gen X, they started, when they came along, they started questioning that loyalty. You know, they wasn't in it. They said, I don't know if I want to do that. They said, I'll show up. But I don't dream about this labor. I don't dream about going to work every day.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the millennials, you know, that's our children. The millennials, they're like, woo, you know, we follow the rules. We got degrees, but still got laid off, burnt out, and got about $120,000 worth of student loans.
So you think about it. They started evaluating that thing. Okay, and so now the Gen Z are coming in hot because they know what done happened to the boomers, the millennials, and the Gen Y. And they're saying, we saw what y'all went through. Okay, we see you. We good right here. We're not doing all of that. Okay?
So you know what? So that brings us to our first scenario, all right? You got a Gen Z employee gets hired, trains, you know, and it costs those companies to train those people. They get hired, they get trained, and then they quit 90 days because the office doesn't offer remote Fridays. She tells her boss, this doesn't align with my lifestyle.
Yes. And y'all know now when COVID hit, some people went to working from home, and then when their company called them back to work, what they do? They quit. Okay, so you ask yourself, is that move bold or is it bratty? Audience, what do you guys think? Let us know. I see the sure do from Barry. Thank you guys. I see Link. Thank you for your comments. And Enchanted, thank you guys for your comments. So what do you guys think about that? Okay, so do you think that person, let's say Truth Seeker 21 says, that person dodged a bullet. She dodged a bullet. If the culture is rigid right now, it's not going to get any better. So that's what that person believes. So now for an OG millennial, they said, well, if I quit every time a job doesn't align with me, I'll still be broke.
Real talk.
Okay?
Real talk.
All right.
All right, guys. If you're just not joining us, drop a comment with your generation and your thoughts about what we're getting into. Mm-hmm. Again, drop a comment with your generation.
Yes.
If you're a boomer, Gen X, millennial, or Gen Z, drop it in the chat. We love to see it. We love to get your thoughts. And while you're there, we appreciate you guys that's tapping the screen. Send those hearts. Don't forget to drop a gift or two. We love it. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Big E. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Also, we've got Stand on Mine. I like that. Okay, guys. Brianna, Elizabeth, thank you guys for joining us today on this topic about these different generations. Thank you. And their work ethics. That's what we're talking about.
Somebody said, they got some thoughts, but they don't think that they
are appropriate right now. Okay, well, you can say
I tell you like this. Our podcast is not for children.
Okay.
So if you have a thought, put it on out there. Let's talk about it.
Okay. All right. We said that this is a newcomer of Bigo Live. Come and welcome him. Thank you. Thank you for joining us from Bigo Live. Tandra, thank you for joining us. We appreciate all of the comments. Thank you guys for chiming in and letting us know what you think, guys. Okay, so now the big question is, guys, has work ethics evolved, or has it just completely evaporated? Is it gone?
I'll say this, Doc B. I think some Gen Z folks are rebranding. They're doing the bare minimum and protecting their peace. Like sis, you just don't want to do the report at all. At all. You don't want to do it. You want to work, but you don't want to do the report.
Okay, and true, but so it's not like it's kind of weird, but it's like we haven't all had jobs where we were overworked. I know I've been in several jobs when I was overworked. Not only did I do my job, I did somebody else's job. This was normal to me. But see, the new generation don't believe that. They don't believe in being overworked, underpaid, or disrespected. Gen Z is saying no more. We're not going to put up with that.
Was that enchanted?
Yeah. Now that I don't have a backbone anymore, after 45 years, I had to step up and get it on my own. I'm not mad at you, girl. I'm not mad. All right now.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I respect the stand, because sometimes I think they don't realize the power of pushing through. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to push through, guys.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do have to push through. So let's take this scenario, guys. A 24-year-old, I have a 29-year-old, turns down a job offer because there's no nap room. Okay, a nap room, and says in the interview, I need time to recharge during the day. How many of y'all know a company that has a nap room? Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm Gen X, and I remember when we was young, we didn't want to take a nap.
Yeah, okay. Now to me, that's next level. But I kind of get it now. Sometimes I need a nap. But what they're saying is that nap protects their peace. They're optimizing for wellness over hustle. That's not lazy. That's just prioritizing to me.
Barry said, oh, hell no. I feel you, Barry, on that one. I feel you. When Channing said something else too.
I lost both parents after 40 years. And what happened? It disappeared. Oh, God, it disappeared. 49 years of being spoiled within a year of each other. I had no choice. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
And Healing Vibe said, I stand the nap room request, normalize rest.
Okay.
What is that? Hard-working Harry. Man, we used to eat lunch at our desk. Now they need nap pods. Come on.
I can't even count the number of times I've eaten lunch at my desk or had what was called a working lunch. We had meetings doing a working lunch. So this is different, guys. This is different. So right now, I want to thank Ty HB, Tanya 150. Thank you for joining us. And Kaylee. And also Angela Cotton, thank you for joining. And Sunman, thank you for joining us.
Y'all keep up that heat. Keep that energy going in the comments. Keep tapping that screen, even if you've been called lazy, just for needing to take a nap.
Okay, Barry Rotten says they might as well divers too. Okay. Okay.
I know that's right. Just don't bring the baby to work.
Okay. All right.
You know, the remote jobs, you hear the baby in the background.
But you know what? We were talking about that. Some jobs have a daycare that's built in.
Yeah.
And you do not have to pay 1 penny to bring your child to daycare, and then you just go to work. That's one of the incentives. Yeah. So that's how you recruit those Gen Z.
But a lot of the Gen Z, they are slightly different than us, because a lot of them, they're with that mental health revolution right now.
Yes, they are.
Because one of my daughters, she's dealing with some mental health, and right now, that's what she's dealing with right now. I just want to get my mental right.
Yes,
I want to clear my mind.
It's important. It's very important. And here's where Gen Z really leads. They are not unapologetic about mental health. They'll tell you in a minute, I need a mental health break. They believe in therapy. They have boundaries, and they also believe in self-care. That's their lifestyle. We have to get used to that.
And I love that part, seriously. We were the grin and bear it generation ourselves. We cry in the car, then walk into a meeting like everything was fine.
Yeah, I done did it too many times. I done fussed about what all I had to do, when I had to do it, if I had to stay late to do something else. I've done it all. But Gen Z is saying, okay, I'm not okay. And I'm not coming in. I'm not coming to work today. They normalize vulnerability. It's okay for them to say that. And see, for me, I didn't believe in that. I believe I had to go to work. I had no choice. But see, they have options.
Yeah, their options are a lot different than ours.
Yes, they are. So thank you, Danny, for joining us, Big Boy and Jeremy. And Divine, thank you for joining us. And also with Sunman. Sunman says Diana Ross and Luther Vandross. I'm not sure why, but I see that coming. Thank you, Daryl, for joining us as well. Okay, guys. There's a challenge, right, Broker J3?
Yeah. But, at what point does prioritizing mental health start looking like avoiding growth? You know what I'm saying? Because don't get me wrong, me and Doc B agree, mental health is very important, but are you going to use that as a crutch, to avoid your own growth?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So that's a gray area, guys. Healing isn't about avoiding. It's knowing what your capacity is and building it over time. Okay? All right. So we got some comments. Okay?
Yeah, I see Generation Z says, I took a mental health leave and came back better.
Okay.
Don't knock it till you try. Okay.
I see you.
Okay.
And now we got Boss Lady OG said, we didn't have the luxury of mental health days. We survived. But at what cost did they survive?
Yeah, you're right.
You have to think about that.
It's a lot of Gen X and baby boomers, actually dealing with a lot of mental issues today because of that, working on them jobs for years. And look at some of the ones that was unfortunate, maybe not necessarily the boomers, maybe some of the Gen X's like ourselves that are getting close to those retirement ages where some of these jobs let you go, where you've been there 20 plus years and then they just let you go. And we can't even talk about what's going on with the government now.
I was getting ready to say that with the federal government.
Just firing people, not thinking about their lives, their livelihoods, how they take care of their families. It's something serious.
Yes, okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We've got Carlos has joined us, Joseph C's. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate your support.
Thank you for the gifts. Thank you. We appreciate all the gifts you guys send.
And Dennis Jones, Chef Drayton, and Virginia Brown. Thank you guys for joining us and much love to you. Thank you for being a part of the J&B family. We're talking about the different generations and how they view work ethics.
And guys, we're facts on facts, Doc. We appreciate you guys' comments. We want your stories. You have taken a mental health day. Did it help? Tap on the screen. Let us know. If you done took you a mental health day, Did it help?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I know when I worked my last job before I retired, you know, I worked with TCSG for a long time, and I just did not believe in taking leave. You know, I would have to be extremely sick to not go to work. But by the end of my career, by the time I got ready to retire, I didn't have no problem calling in and saying, hey, I don't feel well today. But in the past, I felt guilty if I didn't. But I got to the point where I was just overworking myself, and I had to take that break. So Gen Z is much wiser. They're prioritizing their health over that hustle.
Yeah, because what it is those are just our kids that paid attention to us.
Yes.
You know, like you said, we didn't miss days. We had to be extremely sick. You know, and look at what it cost us, because those jobs didn't care about us. You know, those jobs cared about a bottom line. They didn't care. They didn't care whether we came to work sick or not.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
Yeah, because they would function regardless if you were there or not. A lot of people, I hate to say it, but the boomers and some of the millennials or the Gen X, they believe that the job can't function unless they're there. Well, guess what? That's not true. That job will go on, and they will find somebody to replace you in a couple of minutes. Yeah. So that job will go on without you. Yeah. That job doesn't. You do not have to be there in order for that job to work.
Exactly. Don't be surprised if one of your coworkers take over your job.
You don't. Okay.
All right. Now we're gonna jump into the tech-driven hustle versus the traditional grind, because you know the Gen X baby boomers, they was into that traditional grind. Now today, with millennials and Gen Z, they're more into the tech-driven hustle. Let's get into that. Okay. This generation was born with a smartphone. You know, I mentioned a beeper, to my younger kids, and they didn't even know what that was. You know, we ain't gonna talk about no VHS or DVD, because they don't even know what that is. You know, they know how to monetize their personality. You know, they can tell you, you can't tell them to pay their dues. They're paying off crypto.
Yeah,
you know,
that's how they pay for things. And don't mention a stamp. I don't think some of them know what a stamp is.
I don't think they even sent the letter anywhere.
Okay, and typewriters, that stuff is obsolete. They don't know none of those terms. So some of them are making six figures doing voiceovers. They're doing all different types of gaming. They're selling digital planners. Meanwhile, some of us get excited if we get $1.50 raise.
You see, that's the mindset, guys. That we talk about all the time. See, you know, like Dobby says, she worked in the same job over 30 years. I've been in the same career for over 20 years. And she's right. You know, when we get that extra incentive in money, you know, we're happy. But then now you have our kids, you know, almost making what we're making now without the effort and all the hard work we had to put in to get here.
Yeah, that is so true. That's so true. Okay, guys. So right now, but not everyone is going to go viral. So people have to realize that.
So what happens when the digital dream doesn't deliver?
Okay, and guess what? They know how to pivot.
Yeah.
They learn very fast that they have to change, and they adapt. They keep it moving.
Got to adapt.
Gen Z is the most tech fluid generation there is, and that's a superpower. What do you guys think? What do you think about that, being able to adapt? Because I know most of us may not have been born with a smartphone in our hands. So how do we adapt?
I'm gonna show you some. We got a couple of viewers that put some comments, but I want to give you guys an example before we hit on those comments.
Okay.
Look at the little kids nowadays, and when I say little kids, I'm talking about the babies. Some of the toddlers, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. Give them a tablet, an iPad. Don't tell them what to do. Just give it to them. I guarantee you, they will figure out how to use that iPad without you telling them how to do anything. Now I'm talking about 1, 2, and 3-year-old toddlers.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I have a 4-year-old, and when he comes to the house, the first thing he does is he goes for his iPad. And he also goes for his headphones because he knows that I like for him to have headphones on because I don't want to hear everything that's being said from his iPad. But he knows how to move around.
Yeah, and connect the headset, Bluetooth headset, to the tablet.
Yeah. Okay, now we got some comments. We got some comments from a Cold Kick 21. She says, I'm 19. Well, we don't know if it's a he or she, but I'm 19 and I freelance in cybersecurity. I don't need a boss. I need clients. Okay.
And we got Real Talk with T. Not everyone's built to be an influencer. Some of us got to keep the lights on the old-fashioned way. Okay. Now, Real T, I could tell you got to be Gen X, or I wouldn't say baby boomer because most of them are retired, but you got to be Gen X. You know, maybe a almost older millennial, you know, but you got to be one of those to keep lights on the old fashioned. That means you got to work, you got to get out there, you got to get it.
Okay.
Yo, shout out to our creative and our clock punchers out there, because we got a lot of creators that do their thing out there, and we got a lot of people that punch that clock. We respect all forms of hustle. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Crip Riches, Mac, Wheel 1964. Thank you guys for joining us. Rodney Braxton 513, Mac, and also we have Lee. So thank you guys, and thank you for those gifters. Thank you, Lee.
Yeah, we appreciate you, gifters. Keep it up, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
guys. You know, we love all the support you guys give us. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, next we're going to talk about quiet quitting. You know, sometimes when they're on the job and they done checked out already, or loud boundaries. We want to talk about that. So first, let's get into the quiet quitting. Okay, Gen Z says, I'll do what's in my job description. Nothing more, nothing less. They don't believe in that extra.
Now, you know what? You're so right about that, Doc B. Because I remember when we was coming up, when they gave us a job description, we saw it, we read it, we said, okay, we'll agree to doing this. Yeah. But when we started doing that job, we was doing 2 and 3 people jobs.
Okay.
And we did it like it was okay, even though it was outside of our job description. And get this. Remember when they asked you to do something outside your job description, what did you say? Okay. You didn't say anything. Now that's bold, but also isn't that just doing your job?
But you know what? Now we didn't say anything to them, to the bosses, but we might have said something to ourselves, or to our friends, or to our family. I can't believe they asked me to do that. That's not in my job description. But see, that's different now. Gen Z don't believe in doing that.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Yes. So let's think about it. Corporate America has outlined us to think above and beyond. This should be free. So we got to get out of that little narrative and think differently.
Yeah, man. We used to kill ourselves over Employee of the Month.
Yeah.
And that little $10 gift card. Oh, man. Gen Z said, respect my labor or I'm out.
They don't care nothing about no Employee of the Month or no gift card at that. Okay? And so to me, that's not quitting. It's setting boundaries. It's boundary setting. There's a difference between disengaged and being intentional with your energy.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly. And what that is Boundary Boss says quiet quitting. Nah, I'm just not volunteering for unpaid labor. Okay, I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and also we got grind minded. I got promoted by doing more than asked. Still matters in some companies. Yes, it does.
Yes,
it does. Because I see it as a way to get promoted when you're going beyond what you've been asked to do. That's how I see that as a means. Now, you know, some companies may not, but that's, to me, that's a plus in that particular area.
All right, family. If you ever quiet quit,
okay,
you know, drop an eyes emoji in the chat. If you ever did a quiet quit where you was like, I'm only doing what's in the description, or you know, you at the job but you done checked out. You just there just to be there.
Okay.
Put the eyes emoji in the chat.
All right, Treetop, thank you for joining us. Roy Anderson, let's know what you guys are thinking. Come on, let's drop something in the chat box and let us know what you're thinking. Thank you, Rebecca Nelson, for joining us as well. We appreciate you guys' support. So what's the verdict, J3? Is Gen Z lazy? What you think? or just building a new blueprint?
I'll say this, Doc B. I think Gen Z is just flipping the script. And while I still believe hard work still builds character, I can't knock them for saying I'm not breaking myself to build someone else's dream. And that's true because, we killed ourselves to help, our companies make millions while, we were satisfied with the change that they was giving us.
Yeah. So in other words, I thank Gen Z for reminding us. Thank you. Hustle don't have to hurt. Work ethics have not disappeared. It's just changing its shape. So thank you for letting us know that. They're not settling. They're not doing the extras. They just doing the minimum. And sometimes that's all you need to do. And they're considering their mental health as well.
And ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Well, whatever generation you guys are from, thank you for being here with us today. This conversation was absolutely fire.
Yes,
because
thank you guys.
Y'all showed up and showed out. We appreciate the great comments. We appreciate the interaction that you guys have had with us. Thank you so much.
Yes. Now remember, guys, J&B Live Podcast is streaming on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on YouTube Music, Amazon Music, and iHeart. Wherever you get your podcast, we are there. We are here. You can get us. Exactly.
And hey, before we go today, I just got something from from this right here. I want to appreciate and thank everybody that have tapped on the screen.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody that dropped a comment. Everybody that sent the gift.
Thank you, Nika. Says keep up the great work, family. Thank you.
We see every one of you guys. We appreciate it. We love everything that you guys are doing. Thank you so much for keeping J&B Live fresh all the time. We thank you. We're going to keep keeping it real and laying it out there for you guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you. And until next time, guys, protect your peace. Yes. Honor and your hustle. All three.
And don't just leave a chat, leave us today. Make sure you stay grinding and stay growing, okay? I'm Broker J3.
And I'm Dr. V. Thank you, guys. Yes.
And let's do what? Let's talk about it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. We'll